Hello, my name is Creostix, and welcome back to Dovetail Euro Fishing, where we are once again going to the Bergsee Lake in Austria with our trusty and familiar set of our second tackle box, the one I've been using in all of at least the DLC lakes so far, as in this and Foundry Dock. And I believe this might be at least the last one in Bergsea that I do in a row. So I think the next video will be in a different lake, but I don't know if it will be a new lake yet. But it will be at least a different one. So I could either go back to the Foundry Dock or to one of the other lakes that we've seen before. But just to change the pace up a bit. But now that we've been in most of the areas here, I just want to see what's in the center, like, upper area of the quote-unquote diver's goggles here. And actually, the diver's goggles do also remind me of how, as a kid, I used to really enjoy. Well, diving is a very strong word for a thing, but have goggles and maybe a what's the word? A snorkel, like the small pipe you use to breathe. If your head is literally just barely underwater, that sort of stuff. And as a small child, it's at least for me, it was really just fascinating to see all the possible different just surfaces of the lake bed, in near the shore, of course, because in shallow swimming water as a kid, but still, it looked beautiful. It's just look at all the different sorts of rocks just lying there. Usually small pebbles and then some sand and maybe dirt or mud even sometimes, but mostly usually like small stones, a sand or sandy substance as the main type of ground there or bottom there, and maybe some tiny weeds or such and such in there. And if you're really lucky, you might even see like an animal or two. Usually not maybe fish when you're pushing your head into the just underwater and looking around, because the fish usually don't come close to you when you do that. So there is that. But maybe some other tiny creatures and critters if you're really lucky. But usually just some vegetation and rocks, and just looking at how the light sort of plays off of all the rocks and small pebbles and sand and all that in the bottom there, and it looks mesmerizing to me. I really like it, and I think possibly partly from that I kind of developed the interest to watch like nature documentaries that deal with water and lakes and oceans and even rivers and all that good stuff. It's just I'm not even necessarily trying to see like huge creatures in the documentaries necessarily. Of course they help, but even just the seeing the playfulness of the light and water and the surfaces at the bottom there, it looks kind of mesmerizing and calming and hypnotic to me. I kind of like it. It's fun. And indeed, like those watch those cases of watching the underwater moments and all that as a kid usually happened in like the middle areas of Finland, usually in the area of Saimaa, where there's this huge like a concentration of essentially one huge lake, which pretty much looks like a million billion small lakes, that sort of a thing. And in that area, and that's a good place to spend a vacation. I find it's always fun. At least I found it just always soothing and fun and close to nature and all that good stuff. So I liked it a lot. And with that said, actually, I kind of like what that rock looks like. It has an interesting color scheme on the right there, like this rust and silvery thing going on, which I kind of find cool that they didn't just make them all just gray colored, so they have some differences to them, let's say. And I wonder if we could just take a seat on our small whatever mattress thing that is, or just in the chair and just relax. And even if the fish don't bite immediately, which they are not right now doing, that's fine. One can just sit down and enjoy the singing of the birds and looking at the waviness of the water in the lake there, and just taking a deep, deep breath and enjoying oneself. It's always good to just take a moment and take that deep breath and just relax. Because the fish will eventually do their thing, and even if I would one time just get a scenario where just no fish bite for the entire like half an hour or something, that's fine. I would still put it out, because the important bit is just to play for the sake of relaxing and just enjoying oneself for the experience itself. But apparently we have a bite in the number 1 rod, and I always forget to set the tension when I throw the lines. I think I've remembered to set the tension like once in 1 rod. So that's me, the forgetful Creostix. But that's fine. Let's just see what this fish is and, go from there. And just keep reeling it in nice and smooth and slow, and not have a worry in the world. Because it's going to be just fine. And of course the fish itself will also be fine, because we will only just pick it up from the water and just check what it is, what it looks like, and how much it weighs, and take all the experience and whatever currency points or whatever they get from those. So that's the plan. But most importantly, really just have a look at like what it is. I believe I still haven't gotten a single boss fish from this lake, which is, I don't know how likely or unlikely that is here, but I think usually I've gotten a boss fish in like the first or second go at the very least, and I think this is already the 4th one, I think. So what gives? I mean, I don't really mind that, but it's interesting because again, as I've mentioned before, I think most of my baits have, and I think at least the size of the hooks have been mentioned in, like, quote unquote achievement guides of getting boss fish or all the boss fish even, and all that. I'm not really. Oh, okay. Ghost or a koi? It looks like a ghost, but I'm not gonna. Okay, just come on. Just let's see what you are. A ghost carp of 11.56. That's a fish. I like it. That looks very cool. I figured it would be a ghost carp because white, but it had a tiny bit of like an orange hint in the nose there, and I'm like, could it already from that be a koi? But I don't know. But well, it wasn't. It was a ghost carp, and a beautiful ghost carp at that. Did I have a train of thought that I lost now? Maybe. It's possible. Again, forgetful Creostic. Oh, I was talking about the achievements and the guides to those. Like, yeah, I've seen that at least a couple of my baits seem to have been mentioned, like not for me, but like the same baits have been used by people who go for the achievements. But it's like, for me in this case, it's like if there gets like if achievements happen in the background of doing this, that's fine. That's okay. Cool, great. But I'm not like going for them when I do this. This is more just to for the sake of the fun of the fishing itself and for the relaxation of that fishing. And let's see what you are then, because the first fish was an interesting one. Not a boss fish, but an interesting one. I believe I've seen at least a very similar tench in this lake already before, but I don't remember the size of it anymore. 4.55 kilograms. I don't remember if the last tench that I got from this lake that was about the same color and maybe the same-ish shape at least. Not sure. But at least the color was pretty samey. Was it the same weight? Because I believe the fish that go around in the lake are not exactly random. They well, allow me to maybe rephrase the notion. I mean that it's probably random in what fish bite the baits in because RNG and all that, but the lake itself, I believe, has a set amount of different fish, so it's perfectly possible to get a number of like or to get the same fish again, even if it's not a boss fish. So I believe that can happen, and I want to say that I may have had that happen at least once or twice, or at least it has seemed like it has. I'm not sure if it has, but it has seemed like it has. And and that's a bite in the number 2 rod. And there we go, a nice smooth and fast reeling in. Well, a fast reaction to start the reeling in, but the reeling in itself just is nice and smooth and at its own pace, because we are in no hurry. We have no hurry in the world. And that's important to remember when doing this thing. Come on. Come to Creo Sticks, nice and smooth, nice and calm. Just not a care in the world. It is a very slow one to get over here, but it is. Oh, now it kind of started to give a little bit, but it's still just, I wonder, it could be a pretty strong one as well, because it is a fairly resistant fish, but as I've mentioned before, I believe that sometimes the big fish come easy, and sometimes the little fish are feisty as hell. So you never know, you never know. I think the only ones in this lake that have been easy and have been small, like pretty reliably, have been the like the 1 point something kilogram roaches, which are still fun fish to get. I like them, but beyond that, it's been hard to tell the size from what they do here. So let's see what it is. And come on, let's just nice and smooth get in there. And ooh, a dark colored common carp, I believe. That's glints nicely in the sun. I like it. A common carp of 9.1 kilograms. Not too shabby. Okay, let's maybe this time then put this right in our feet again. Maybe just in those rocks. Well, it hit water. It usually floats away from there if it can. It looks like it can. Oh, and we have to pick up rod number 1. Here we go. And just start reeling it in. But indeed, I think at least in some cases before, like some of the feistiest fishes, like, fight-wise and all that stuff in this have been actually just, medium to small sized tench even. So you never know from the amount of fight that they have. So, we'll see. But then again, also in my practice runs, I have gotten like, massive boss fish, catfish as well, which those have like taken, I think, multiple minutes to reel in like they just don't want to come in for a very long time. So There can be a correlation, but it's not really a sure science, at least not in my experience, let's say. But anyway, we can just keep reeling this one in and see what it is. Very nice and slow, of course, as per usual, but there's no reason to be all rough and start fights with the fish here. We're just taking them in nice and easy and just savoring the moment of trying to guess what it is and then seeing what it is. But also while being, all smooth and sensible. And ooh, and number three is, yeah, number three is going as well. But I think we have time, and unless it's a really fast one to go, we should have time to get it. Come now, come to Creo Sticks. The last moments, there you are, or the last meters, let's say, or feet, whichever you like. And you are a 10.63 common carp and a dark colored one. And what are you then? Ooh, and we have a line tension to set there. Nice and good. Ooh, that took a while to get the tension going, but there you are, because I think it actually maybe swam toward me a bit, so there was a lot of excess line there, which may cause this to be a bit more difficult than other ones, because when it gets this close in the beginning, it can create a bit more tension than usual, so we'll see where it goes. Just keep the angle away from it, and nice and easy. Just let it tire itself out and try to avoid getting it to... I try to avoid getting the rod too close to the circle of the fish icon there. I find it creates sort of unpredictable scenarios sometimes with the tension if I'm too close to the fish icon. But now I might be a bit too far away because it's getting real jittery with the rocks there. But okay, well, we got it there, but it got a little jittery there because it's just the fish is whoa. Thou boy, oh, that's not a small one. That's a 6.04 tench. I don't remember what my biggest tenches are anymore, but that's like at least by the way of like that has to be the biggest tench head I have ever seen. Jeez. Like usually the tenches have this like very small head in relation to the rest of the body, but that was like a carp-sized head, like boom. Jeez, a mutant tench. Ah, could eat a man. That sort of a tench. Well, not quite, but almost. Ah. Well, let's not lose our cool to that. It was just a very, very interesting tench to see. Oh, that's a very jittery fish as well, this one. Do you want to just stay there and tire yourself out in the rocks there? That's fine too. It looks a little strenuous, but for you, I mean. But it's if that's how you want to do it, because now I don't want to put it away from the icon to the left, because I fear it'll start just being more combaty with against the rocks there. So I was like, well, if it's okay there, then it's fine. But yeah, so usually the tench heads are kind of that variety, a bit smaller in relation to the head there. But okay, so that's the tench of 2.73 kilograms then. Very good. And I think if we get lucky, we could even maybe get 3 fish, but let's at least see if we can get a couple. I'm hoping for a couple, maybe it'll be one more, but at least a couple I'm hoping for. So a close one there, and maybe throw a far one to the left. And maybe even a second far one to the left, really. There you go. And the third one to the a bit closer to the shore on the left, but again far away from me. So in that direction, let's say. Ooh, and that's a good throw for maximum power. That's gonna go all the way there. Oh yeah, that's nice. And 81 was what it was a moment ago there. That's good. Let's let those just lie there for a bit and see where we stand then. And I wonder what sort of bait is in the bucket there, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose, because our baits are already in the water. Ooh, and I'm not sure I saw that cabin before. I've seen a number of different ones but I don't think I've seen that one. That looks like it's a stone cabin. Actually, that's a kind of an interesting look there. I like it. I like it a lot. It has a rural attitude to it that's both appealing and very strong. I like it. And old, a classic stone cabin. I like it. I like it a lot. What's that? Is that like a dead tree? Or a fallen tree? Yeah, that's that there in the... Not sure if I can go there. Let's see. Just barely, yeah. It has some nice vegetation on it as well. And again, it's a nice example of even a dead tree can be colorful and soothing to watch, really. I kind of like it. But, yeah, I kind of do enjoy the forests, let's say a hint of forest here. It's kind of almost not a forest, but just enough to be a forest, I think. So yeah, some trees, but a small forest with some of the trees there, and that's a bit of a sharp angle on the ground there against the rock, but details, details. Ooh. But I do hope a fish bites pretty soon because oh well, that's... Come on. Give. Let's see. Just as I say it, of course. Now that's a good one. Let's see. Yep, attention is going. Good, good, good. And now we can just start nice and smooth reeling it in. And number one is going as well. I'm absolutely going to get number one as well, of course, assuming it doesn't get away on its own. So we're going to be just fine. And indeed, I can sometimes just hold this in one hand because I'm just holding down the reel in button, and I don't need to move the rod at this point in any real direction. So But yeah, I suppose I do kind of make things difficult for myself when I put the baits really close to my feet because it's easier to reel in fish from afar. It really is. You barely need to do anything else than just hold down the reel button at 25 and at least with this rod reel line set up. But anyway, let's see what it is first. And then number one is next and number three is next if I... sorry, number one is next and number two is then if I get to both of them. But what are you? You are a big orange tench of 6.49 kilograms. Number one. Come now. Again, 85 meters away. That's usually a pretty good sign that it's not a tiny fish. But then again, the bait was far away to begin with, so who knows, who knows. But indeed, actually that tench was a really, really good size as well. And maybe I did... I just feel that usually the tench heads aren't that big, but that was a pretty big head as well, though. So I don't know. It just the first time I saw that one tench was like, whoa, that's a big head for a tench, but okay. Anyway, let's just reel this one in anyway and see where we end up with this. I hope that I'll be able to get the other fish as well, but I don't know. But anyway, like this fish or the one next to it, if I can get to it before it gets away, that's the last fish. So either this one or that one. Let's see where it goes. Because I'm kind of running against the clock here again, as per usual. Come now. Ooh, and you're a strong one though, still at 93, 94 meters. You're still going away from me after like all this, time. Of me reeling in, I mean. So that's interesting. You never know, but I just that it could be a big one, it just could be. Again, I could be wrong, and then it's just like a 500-gram brooch, but it could be a big one. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Come now, nice and smooth, nice and smooth. Just take it so smooth. Now you're coming, okay. I think as long as I get it close to me, I think that's gonna be the point when I get to catch it. Let's just see. Come now. Come to Creo Sticks. Come now. Come now. Just nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. I hope it's big, but I can't really look at it for too long because I gotta check the number 2 rod as well. But let's see what it is. It went far away, It could be, but you never know. You never know. Ooh, a nice big mirror carp of how big? How big? How big? 13.38 mirror carp and number 2 rod, number 2 rod, number 2 rod. Come on, come on, come on. And there we go. And now we can take a long, deep breath again. It got a little bit exciting there, but not too much, I hope. Not too much, because the name of the game is still to always relax here. But, ooh, we got it. As well, again, like a 99-98% chance of getting the fish when I get to this point. But this will be the last fish because I am running against the clock here. But yeah, let's just nice and smooth, and still, even with the clock ticking here, we're still not in enough of a hurry to start doing any extra moves or extra tensioning with the fish. Just take it. Oh, and you're going. Let's see if I can just, oh, careful, careful. Let's see if I can just help you just, be not against the stones. There you are. Or against the rocks. Because it looks a little strenuous to be rubbing against those for no reason. And you are a normal-ish looking tench, I feel, of maybe 2 or 3 or something kilograms. Yeah, 3.6 kilograms tench. But with that tench gotten and that big mirror carp in the middle, that was a nice catch of 13 point something. And I forget the details, but with that though, I am all out of time for this episode. But I do hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please do drop a like or a comment, or even subscribe or share if you want to. It would really help. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.